students, let us just start with another part of this ecosystem, which we will describe as an energy flow, right? So this is very important part of the ecosystem, because energy flow, once we learn, we will be able to relate that how much energy each and every trophic levels animals are getting, right? So when we talk about this energy flow, we have to remember here the flow of energy is actually over here unidirectional. What is the meaning of unidirectional? That means one way it is flowing, right? Now before we go to this details, we have to know a very important part, that is PAR. What is PAR? PAR stands for photosynthetically active radiation. Now when we talk about this, obviously what is the energy over here we are talking about? The main energy that we are talking about is the energy from the sun, right? Now energy from the sun is actually reaching to the earth. So let us take the energy from the sun is reaching to the earth, right? Now this energy of the sun which is reaching to the earth, how much it is? The energy of that 50% is actually utilized, can be utilized by the photosynthetically active radiation, which we call as. That means it can be utilized by the green plants of the organs or of the biotic system of our universe, right? So PAR is the photosynthetically active radiation, okay, which is actually utilized, that is sun's 50% of this energy is used, can be used as PAR, but the producers are actually capturing from the 50% 2 to 10% of it, okay, for the making of the food. So who is actually capturing? Obviously the producers. Producers are present at different trophic levels, suppose different ecosystem rather, and producers are actually, we can say, the beginners of the biotic trophic levels. If you talk about biotic and abiotic, then obviously energy is the beginner. Which energy over here? Solar energy. That means producer is trying to capture this solar energy in it, okay? And why it is capturing the solar energy? Because it will be making the food, and the food is nothing but the energy, right? So here what we can see, that the total solar energy which is actually available for the living organisms, 50% is actually the photosynthetically actively radiation, which the producers can use, but 2 to 10% is actually captured by these producers, okay? So this is very important, that how much it is captured, and rest of it, what will happen to the rest of the energy? The rest of it is actually escaped in the form of the heat, okay, or it can be absorbed by the atmospheric gases which are present, right? And it can be utilized for evaporation of the water which are present in the ecosystem, and it can be scattered and reflected by the clouds also. The entire world is actually sustaining on this particular percentage of energy. That means the producers which they can capture from this PAR, that is 2 to 10%, okay, and it is making their own food, and this is actually passing to the different trophic levels, right? Now when we talk about the different trophic levels, we need to take an example of a particular food chain, right? So a food chain, if we start, a food chain can be different in different ecosystems. Now if we start a food chain with the producer, obviously let us talk about the grass. This grass is the first part of the food chain where it is receiving the energy from the sun. Now here we will learn about the 10% law. That is very important. That is the 10% law, which is very important to know, that how much it is being actually captured by the different trophic levels. So let us talk of food chain over here. Grass, eaten by grasshopper. Grasshopper is taken by frog. Frog is taken by snake. Snake is taken by vulture. So let us take, this is a very simple food chain. We know what is a food chain. Here also we will be doing the food chain. There are different type of food chains. A chain means actually the food which is getting consumed from one trophic level to another trophic level. So here if you talk about the first trophic level, T1, this is producer. This will be taken by the trophic level 2, that is the first consumer. This is what we call as a primary consumer. This is we call as a secondary consumer. This is we call as a another level of the secondary consumer or tertiary consumer, and this is the scavengers we see, right? So what is happening over here? When the producer is, suppose we can say the energy of the solar energy may be 1 million joule is being utilized by this producer, which is 2 to 10% suppose. Okay. So this energy which is utilized, and it is actually utilized to produce the food, and that food is actually stored in the grass. But when this grasshopper will be taking the grass, so from 1 million joule, obviously how much it will be coming to the grass will be able to utilize only 10% of it. So 10% of it will reach to the grass, right? So 1 million's 10% is, if we talk about 1 million, units, tens, hundreds, thousand, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. Okay, we can give the zeros like this. Okay, 1 million. Now 10% of it, that means 10 by 100 of 1 million. So here we will see how much it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Right. So this particular joule will be actually consumed by this grass. Okay. We can say 10,000 also, 100,000 also. Okay. Now, when this particular food will go to the grasshopper, will be taking the grass, again 10% of it will be taken. Right. 10% of it will be taken, and this 10% of it will be utilized to keep the energy for the frog, right? Now the 10% of it which the grasshopper has utilized will be stored here, and the rest will be dissipated in the form of respiration of its own, in the form of their own activities which they are doing. Grasshoppers, they are flying, grasshoppers, they are eating. They are always flying from one place to another place, that actually consumes some energy. So it will be utilized. But what will be stored? That is the 10% which the frog will be getting. So when the frog will feed on this one's 10% will come over here. So gradually we can see there is actually reducing. We can see the reducing energy. Okay. And if the frog is actually having the energy, frog's 10% will be reaching to the snake, and snake's 10% will be reaching to the vulture. So gradually what will happen, in different trophic levels of this food chain, we can see it is getting less. Now which will reach to the vulture will be very less energy. Okay, that energy of the vulture will be utilized for its own flying, for its own activity, and this will end up the trophic level here. Trophic level cannot be unlimited, because as it will reach to the vulture, again if there is another trophic level, again its 10% will become very negligible. Okay, negligible over here means how much it is getting stored in our body, more I am wasting it in eating. That cannot happen in the trophic level. The food chain is very limited. Okay, so in this case what we can see, that there is a 10% pass, or the loss of the energy which is taking place. So this particular law is actually known as a 10% law, which is unidirectional. It cannot happen any time that the producer will eat the grasshopper, or the grasshopper will eat the frog. So because of that, what happens, the energy flow which is there, it is gradually decreasing. Okay. So here this is very important that I will explain you that what is actually needed. Number. So when we talk about the vulture, since the vulture is actually getting very less from a snake, by eating one snake, the vulture is getting very less energy. Will that energy do for the vulture to do the activities? No. So because of that, what the vulture will be, actually what will be the motive of the vulture? To take more snakes. It has to eat more snakes. Then only it will be able to consume, or it will be able to keep the energy. Whereas if the grasshopper is getting, if the frog is getting the grasshopper's 10%, here the energy is quite more. So the frog will take the grasshopper more, but frog will have more energy over here. Content of the energy in the frog will be more than that of the vulture. So vulture will take more of the snake. Snake will take more of the frog. It cannot be that frog will be less and snake will be more. Vulture over here will take more snake. So suppose more snake will be consumed by the vulture. If there is a less snake here, then the vulture will not be able to satisfy. So what will happen as we go to the tropic levels, towards the end part of the tropic level of the food chain, the diet increases. The diet increases. Okay? It cannot happen in the other way. So snake has to be more for the vulture. Understood? If the vulture is more and snake is less, one time the snake will totally get vanished. And that cannot happen in the ecosystem. So this is very important to understand. Because of that, we can see the grasshoppers over here has to be much more than that of the frog. At the same time, the grass has to be more than that of the grasshopper. So here, if we try to represent, it will be like this, which we will understand in the pyramid. So like this, it will keep on decreasing. So obviously this is the grass, plants, grasshopper will be less, frog, snake and the vulture. So the number is decreasing like this, which is actually the pyramid of the numbers which we see in the decreasing content like this. Okay. So this is actually what we are explaining in PAR or 10% law. 10% loss of energy is actually taking place in each and every tropic levels. You can consider the tropic level in a, we have considered the grassland. You can consider the tropic level in aquatic. So in an aquatic tropic system, this is the water level. Which are the plants present in the underneath? These plants are eaten by the kind of a fish or the zooplankton. Zooplanktons are eaten by the small fishes. Small fishes are eaten by the large fishes. So here also what happens, the 10% and this plant is utilizing the sun's energy. Okay. So here also we can see the same thing will happen in this particular food chain. Okay. There is another kind of food chain which is detritus food chain, which actually starts from the dead organism. Okay. That means when a person is dying, suppose an insect or anything is dying, then the earthworm and the ants will feed and their food chain will start from there. It will feed and break up, and then the next one will be decomposers. So this is another kind of the food chain. Again in the same manner, the energy is actually getting transferred in the 10% law. So hope this particular part is clear with all of you. Thank you, students.